All right, my microphone is on. Is my pack on? Now my pack is on. I'll show you my pack. Wait a second. That did not come out all that great. Time for some waters. I am a great musician. Clean out this here before that to get hot. See you later. Get some good water today. Lemon zesty water. Woo! Alrighty. There's a lot of cans here. I should probably get rid of these cans or take them somewhere. It's kind of my thing. I'm going to have a seat. It's already live. Oh. Hi, everybody. So this has been a nice week. Hello, Colt. All right. Yeah, let's make it an epic week. It's already going to be epic. I'm going to a International Observe the Moon Night event tonight, and I'm getting to crack out the telescope and let people look through it, so pretty stoked about that. Anytime I get to talk to people, like, in person about stuff like that, like astronomy and everything, it makes me happy. And let's do this. And I'm going to talk to Henk Rogers today, the guy who did Tetris, or made Tetris. Didn't make it, brought it. And is doing a bunch of cool stuff just besides the moon base thing. Like, holy smokes. So, yes. Where is dark mode? Okay, Twitter. Where is your dark mode at? Because anyone who uses Twitter in light mode is a cop. So, where is it? This is ridiculously annoying. Let me sit like I'm actually going to sit during the show. Hi. Look into my eyes. Look at me. Look at me. Don't look away. So, there we go. God, Twitter has made it difficult to do that. Jeez. Thanks. I learned that you can't zoom these in to focus them.
You can't zoom them in. No, focus changes with zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like like some of the broadcast stuff I've worked on where you can like zoom in all the way, focus it up, and then come back and it retains that focus. So.
Really high-end lens to
Yes.
be able to retain focus along with changing zoom.
Yes, and I realize that's not what these are. Just dissing lenses and things, you know. By the way, I just want to say this shit is hard to set up by yourself. So Jamie, I don't know how you were doing this like multiple times. Doing this. This is tough. This is very tough. Bernie had a heart attack. Yeah, there was a small earthquake near San Francisco. I had a friend that was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" It's just like, I don't know. See you later. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey Jared, you said you had videos? Is that correct?
There should be one in there, Lunar EVA.
Okay.
So that's it. It's 9 minutes long.
Or,
I probably should have broken it up, but I didn't think about that until right now.
did you link all the rest of the images?
Like put them in the rundown?
Yes.
No. So
Interior, Apollo.
yes.
Okay.
You want me to?
No. That's fine.
I thought because it was.
Just because you upload it doesn't mean it's connected.
I thought DB did that automatically though.
It transports the file magically to the drive that I can use, but it does not put a link in Rundown Creator that puts it in the rundown automatically.
Oops.
No, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Misunderstood how DB works then. So.
Yeah, it uploads the file and makes it available to link, but you still have to make the link manually.
Gotcha.
We don't have a script to automatically do that because it would just make a mess.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So, hi there, back there, Ms. Vincent. So, woo. All right, we're all just kind of hanging out now.
Did you strip audio from this video?
Yes.
Okay.
There is no audio, so Well, I mean, it's on the moon, so there's going to be no sound.
Because on the moon, no one can hear you scream?
This is not a Brad Pitt film. This is the real deal. Okay. So, actually, I don't know. I haven't seen Ad Astra yet. So, what is that? Is that Wait, what's up?
Oh, I've got the original script that I'm not supposed to have, and yeah, it went through some changes.
For better or for worse?
It became, instead of about space exploration, it became about, oh, my dad was an asshole, but I need to go rescue him.
Language.
Oh, yeah. Bleep.
All right, well, you know, happens to the best of us, I guess, right?
If it gets people excited about space, I'm all for it, but that doesn't mean I need to partake.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I want to go see it, so.
And at the same time, I have quibbles with inaccuracies in what you should be scientifically literate for, and people absorbing the wrong sorts of things and having misconceptions being widespread.
Interstellar.
I'm not going to say no to that, so.
All right, we're going live.
You're going to go live to the world?
Live to the world.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's go for it. We're going a little early, but I don't mind. So, we can make it. Descend upon us.
What, 3 minutes early?
I guess, I don't know. I thought we went at 10:50, but.
No, it's supposed to be 15.
But guess I'm wrong.
Jared, you're wrong. What are you, Ben?
Well, if you ask the internet. Anyways, I'm not bitter about it. Oh, man. This has been a fun week. So, let me tell you. Helicopter.
Did you see the red arrows yesterday?
I did not see the red arrows yesterday.
I was driving home, and I was in my home city.
There's another helicopter.
Which you may or may not know is very far from where they were supposedly performing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in a drive-thru waiting for some food, and I heard jets go over. And the drive-thru lady pokes her head out the window, and she goes, "Wow, look, over there!" And it's red arrows in formation.
Nice.
Like, what the heck are they doing over here?
Suddenly helicopters. And low-flying helicopters,
That
too.
sounds like not a helicopter.
Well, on my flight app, it says the Orange County Fire Authority just flew right over us in one of their Bell 412s. So, which that would be loud. So, interesting. So, nothing else on here. So, interesting. So, what's this? Is this a Dear Moon invitee? No. We're actually going to be talking to Henk Rogers. If my research was correct, he brought over Tetris from the Soviet Union. Kind of helped, license it, I guess, is what I would say. He's very interested in spaceflight. So we're going to talk about the moon and other things like that. Hello, Johnny. Hello, Travis. Christian Woodland. Isn't Titan getting a copter type? Yeah, they're going to do a octorotor, I guess, an octorotor nuclear-powered drone for its atmosphere. So that should be pretty fun. So super excited for that, called Dragonfly. That'll be really interesting. I think it gets at Titan at 2035 or 2037. It's a long way away. But it's going to be cool. Gets to fly through the atmosphere of Titan. And Titan has lower gravity than the Earth and a thicker atmosphere than the Earth. So it's actually very easy to fly a vehicle on Titan. So,
Hey, did you have notes in Rundown?
I did not.
Where are they?
I did not.
You don't have notes?
I do not.
Okay. But you're going to ditch your pad when you're...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I did study for this,
That's fine.
so I ain't no fool,
That's fine.
hopefully. So,
Just making sure that you're well supported.
yes. I absolutely feel incredibly ready to go.
Okay. So we're just missing a guest.
So-
Hasn't checked in at all.
Hello, Deepod Dolphin. Hello, Austin. Hello, Karthik. Karthik, I hope I'm saying that correctly. As you know, I am not good at pronouncing things. Even King's English or whatever we speak here in the United States. Californian, I guess, is what we speak. Hello, Andy. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning. So, yeah. So, pretty cool stuff, right? We're having some fun, hanging out. We're all just here on my flight deck, my new Lamborghini. Hello, Mars Mountain. Hello, Nicholas. Hello, Raj. Hello, Ilamar. Hopefully I got that right. So, oh, I got it right. Yes. Karthik. That is such a cool name. Hello, Sweden. A3D Blaster. Hello, DJ Opdam. Sandeep, you guys have been putting out amazing content. Well, thank you, Sandeep, for watching us. So we do this to get people excited about space. So that's all we want to do. And I'm glad that you guys are getting that. Hello, Jim. Hello, CPU 2006. It's Colton. Hello, Lisa is awesome. Hello, Peter. Hi, everybody. How's it going? This is pretty cool. I don't think, yeah. So, yeah, I'll have some words come out in like correct order at some point. So, yeah, at some point today. So, Andy Charger, do you have Elon on the show today? No, he's a little busy. So, yeah. Honestly, I don't know if we can have Elon on the show, because if you go watch Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut's interview of Elon that he did after the Starship thing, I really don't know if you're ever going to get a better interview than that, because that was beyond gold. That was beyond platinum. That was amazing. So it was such a good interview, and hats off to Tim Dodd for doing such a fantastic interview with Elon. So that's fantastic. Why am I drinking out of a single-use plastic cup? I'm sorry. This is what Starbucks handed me. Oh, you want to see this? I'll show you, Rabindra, because that happened. I think, or if you're the one who brought it up, I took that to heart. And hi, everybody. I'm in the control room now. Wait till you see what I got. I forgot there's a camera in the control room, so sorry, Dada. But I have, for most of my stuff, I've got to figure out how to get Starbucks to do this. But look at this. I have ditched my single use for this. This is my 2-liter hydro flask, and oh my God. Refreshing. So. And I love this because this will keep water cold for like 2 days. It's amazing. So, yeah, there you go. So, yes. Putting our drinks into flasks. I highly recommend that, because let's face it, flasks, lots of good things come from flasks. So, but yeah, Ravindra, I don't know what to tell Starbucks to get them to not put this. Maybe they can give me a drink this big. And I could just walk in with this and be like, hey, fill her up. So, but also I don't know if they're going to do that because it's 64 ounces. So I can't imagine walking in and being like, can you give me 2 liters of coffee, please? So that's just not going to work well. So, I mean, you think Concerta is bad. So let me tell you. So oh my God, everybody's getting on me about this. So, oh, I could take my cup. So I could use this again? Maybe I could use this again. I could wash this, right? So, you think so? I think I could. I'm going to go in there and just be like, put it in this. So, drink the drink costs. Oh, Starbucks has reusable cups. Okay. I'm down with it. So, coffee is the only acceptable beverage besides water, Jim Myers. I don't agree with that. Oh, show's over? Oh, okay. Oh. No, I don't agree with that. There's also alcohol. So, pick your poison. Travis Neal, I have Dada's hat symbol tattoo on my arm. Dorkiest thing I've ever done to myself to date. It's cool, though. So, I wouldn't say it's a dork. Oh, steel vacuum cups for coffee. Gotcha. Time ago, and the guy give us... Guy had us give him 100 shots of espresso. All at once? Or, like, did he take it home and he, like, poured out a little bit every day? Because, holy smokes.
That sounds like a lethal dose.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, 100 shots of espresso, that literally sounds like... That sounds hypergolic.
Death.
Yeah. Well, again, that sounds hypergolic. So, actually, I think the snowbirds may have flown by Griffith yesterday because one of our grounds people there took a photo of all these planes flying in formation with, what's it called?
Snow.
It's not snow, but what are they? The smoke stuff? Coming
Yeah.
out the back.
There was an air show in Huntington Beach yesterday, and there was like snowbirds and
Yeah, they're
red
still having
arrows
it.
and-
Isn't it this whole weekend, I think?
I don't know.
So, yeah, I don't know either. So, Doug's there. He'll get good photos. So, hey, Jared, during the weekly pre-recorded show, why don't you keep count of the rocket launches from the U.S., China, Russia, etc. anymore? Johnny, I don't know. Stuff like that is not my decision. That's more Jamie's area. So, talk to Jamie about that. But I think we basically said that we didn't like the connotations of it. We're trying to like nationalistic competition and stuff like that. That we just appreciate the fact that people are launching. So I think we just ditched that completely. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember the exact reason we did it, but yeah. So hello, other Jared from Norway. Nice to meet you. Or do they say Jared the same in Norway as they do here in the U.S.? Maybe, I don't know. So sounds pretty cool. And I probably just offended everybody, but being an American, I'm pretty darn dumb. So, yeah, China is very hush about missions most of the time. Yeah, actually, China did like a surprise launch this week. So, in our space news, I was like, "There's no arrivals or departures. I'm so disappointed in the Earth." And then literally the next day, China launched something. So, Casper's full and the lower thirds are good, I believe. So yeah, so it's good stuff. So I guess we're waiting on our guests still. So we're 5 minutes or 6 minutes out still. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And thank you all for calling me on this. It's definitely something I need to do. I already drive a Jeep, so I got to find other ways to minimize it. So, although when Tesla's pickup comes out, I am saving money right now to put a deposit on that thing because so a lot of the stuff I do and a lot of the work I have to do requires me to have a 4x4. So it's not like I can just go grab a Model 3 right now and be okay because I go places and sometimes have to go places that would absolutely destroy what you've got. So I've got to wait. So hurry up. Hurry up, Tesla. I want the pickup. And also that's going to be epic because you can have max torque at any speed with electric motors. And let me tell you, a lot of people would think the 4x4 community is like not like big on electrification and things like that. But let me tell you, we are all like chomping at the bit to get an electric 4x4 because that's going to be like the ultimate performance 4x4. So, and that would be very exciting to have something like that. Also, I think there's also that other company, Rivian, if I remember correctly. They've got like a pickup truck and a Nicholas, Rivian or Rivian, and Bollinger. Actually, Bollinger was at the LA Auto Show a couple years ago, and I literally was at their booth for 2 hours just talking with them about their vehicle. I think it's the B1. So and it's so cool because it's so like utilitarian. It's like a classic. It's like a stripped down old school Land Rover Defender style kind of off-roader, and that was really neat. Rivian, actually, I love their SUV and their pickup truck, but I think that's a little out of my what would you call it? I don't know.
Price range?
Yeah, it's a little out of my economic abilities as a somewhat college student. So yeah. Oh, Jared. Jared. So, gotcha. That's cool. It's very cool. Hello, Graham from South Africa. So, Jim, maybe I'll talk to Jamie about at the end of the year doing like a total number recap maybe thing, or maybe every quarter we can do like a total recap kind of thing. But for now, as far as I know, we're not doing it. So, but I will throw that out there. So, definitely for sure. Also, Owen, hello, Owen. You think me on Facebook? Hi, Owen. So, of course I've got noisy shoes. So I've got to annoy the internet. Besides just my hair and my ability to repeat what people say verbatim. So I've also got to have annoying shoes as well. Or I think my favorite comment somebody's ever said about me to try to insult me on the internet was, that guy looks like he should be on the cover of Pear-Shaped Monthly. And I was like, that's lovely. How nice of you. So, yes, I work at Griffith Observatory, Trey. I talk to people about how cool space is and astronomy and other things like that. I'm also with the production crew for a monthly program we do up there called All Space Considered, which is sort of like a news review program. It's definitely, I don't care if my bosses are watching this. It's definitely a lot stuffier than this is. So, yeah. But it's lots of fun. Oh! They're washing windows right now. Let me see if I can get a photo of that so you all can see what I'm looking at right now, because suddenly there's just this thing going back and forth. Did they move on? They appear to have moved on. No, it's just behind that window right there. Oh, yeah, they moved on. So, oh, no, maybe? No. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, they moved on. All right. So, what else we got? John.
Note to self: don't give Jared an open mic.
Too late. Turn my microphone back on. Thank you.
Respect my authority.
John Holleran, hello from Vermont. Do you think we will see any Starlink launches soon? I know there were mention of 4 before the end of this year. Yeah, Glenn Shotwell said that they're going to try to do 4 before the end of this year. I think they'll do 2. So I think Crew Dragon is going to get a lot of their stuff with it. Zapfan says thank you for the work on streaming from Griffith. You're welcome. Also, Sarah Vincent, who's in studio today, also does work as well with that. So Sarah is in the dark in the back right there, kind of helping produce today. So that's pretty cool. Hello, John. Good to hear from you. So I haven't heard from you in a really long time. What's up, dude? So always interesting conversation with you about a whole bunch of things. I have a name on YouTube. Do a classification of LEO, GEO, and crewed launches for the year. Maybe. So that'd be pretty cool. Austin Napier, you guys should bet on Super Heavy Crewed Missions Timeline, round 2. And then Graham W. follows that up with Jared doesn't want to lose a bet again. You're right. I don't know if we really want to bet on the Super Heavy Crewed Mission Timeline, because it seemed like Elon didn't even know what the crewed mission timeline was for Super Heavy and Starship. And I said that in news, and it seemed like nobody listened to me. Anyways, but I'm not bitter about that. What else we got? Stelly Ford. Anyone from your team going to the Mars Society convention? No, unfortunately. Have to pay to get into that. Dad Dog, hello, Dad Dog. What's happening? Christian Woodland, how is Gwen Shotwell doing these days? I assume she's doing great because she's like slaying it out there. So I don't work for SpaceX, so I don't know. Or excuse me, I don't work for Company X, so I don't know. Austin, no more bets? No, we're gonna have some bets. We'll figure something out. So everybody's saying hi to you, Sarah, just to let you know. With that, DJ Opdam, isn't Starlink gonna overcrowd low Earth orbit? I don't know. So. It's definitely going to be interesting having all these satellites suddenly deploy. And I think, too, if you really think about it, Starlink is above the altitude of the International Space Station, but it's pretty darn close in low Earth orbit, at least, to the altitude of Hubble. So that's going to be very interesting. So Sarah says hello back to all of you. Sarah is currently not monitoring YouTube directly. We can see YouTube in our chat room that we've got, but we can't monitor it directly. So, all right, and we're 2 minutes past 1800. So, Ruben, when do you think Starliner will fly? Next year, just like Crew Dragon. So, you know, gotta think very realistically about these things, which I know for myself and Dutta, we're both very much engineers at our cores, so we try to think very realistically about things, which are often timelines that people on the internet don't like to hear. But I mean, to me, the engineering stuff is a lot more fascinating than the schemes of historical causality that you could get with them. So it's just better than that. So
I'm also a history buff, so that all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So, Everyday Astronaut said Elon is actually ahead of his 2018 predicted timeline with Starship. Maybe. I didn't take a hard look back at what Elon had said in 2018 at the Dear Moon event, just because things have changed so radically since then.
My personal opinion is there is a lot that they don't know yet, and
Yes.
those are all going to be engineering challenges that they are going to have to rise to or slip from.
That is exactly how I feel about it too, and that's at least what I tried to convey in Space News this week. But it seemed like not a lot of people were happy to hear me convey that, so which is fine. So, but you know, it's just the way it is. Engineering's tough. And, you know, engineering is quite like, a lot of people say engineers are not scientists, but I mean, you basically use the same methods. So, to figure it out, it's just that, I guess engineering is more like applied physical science or something. I don't know. That's a debate for another thing. Elon Musk is the lead engineer at SpaceX. I wasn't aware of that before the interview with Everyday Astronaut. I think I will keep that to myself. So,
I've asked Lisa to ping the guest, and
Gotcha.
I have not heard a reply. So I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, and if no guest, then I'm going to call the show.
Okay. I definitely appreciate the work that Elon is doing. Okay, let me make no bones about this. I super appreciate the work that Elon is doing, but at the same time, I super appreciate the work that Elon Musk is doing at SpaceX, but I would also like people like Tom Mueller and Gwen Shotwell to also get elevated to that level as well. Tom Mueller is an incredible propulsion engineer. You would not have that Merlin engine without him, which has basically been the bread and butter, the core of what made SpaceX SpaceX. In addition to that, Gwen Shotwell had to sell the idea of reusable rockets half a decade before they were even a thing. So can you imagine trying to sell something that is not here, and you have to convince all these big companies to do that so that you can get money to continue to do it. So yeah. So I feel like Tom Mueller and Gwen Shotwell should be elevated to the same level as Elon Musk with that. So that's my soapbox. I will now get off of it. So there you go. So yeah. So Tom Mueller is no longer at SpaceX, and I actually saw Tom Mueller driving around once in one of his Porsches that he has. So, yeah. So it's pretty cool. So, yes. Yeah. I know thank you. I appreciate that you guys like that. I know most of the internet doesn't when I say things like that, but whatever. I don't care. So, do you watch or listen to OLF? I have no idea what that is. So yeah. Yeah, Stelly Ford, environmental control and life support systems is extra hard because people die when you're wrong. Yeah, that's very true. And I think that there was a tremendous amount of hand waving over that. Yeah, not that difficult or whatever Elon said. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, I could talk about SpaceX all I want. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure Elon has a degree in physics, so he understands how rockets work, and I'm sure that he had a hand in certain things. But I'm very skeptical about the lead engineer thing with that. But I would totally love to talk with him about that. I would love to basically point blank him and be like, what did you, show me. So, show me the money, with it there. I would love to talk to him about that. That would be really cool. But also, like I said at the beginning of this little hangout we're having as we wait for our guest to hopefully show up, in case you're wondering where the guest is. Everyday Astronaut did such a good interview with Elon that I really don't want to try because, I don't know if you could top that. So, because Tim Dodd is on top of his game. So that was amazing. So, our ludicrous future. Unfortunately, I don't listen to it. I don't even listen to TMRO. So, that's mostly because I just don't like listening to myself. It is so difficult to edit Space News because I just don't like listening to myself or watching myself. So it's really tough. So, yeah. So, all right. I guess we're just hanging out now. Yeah. Raj, I'm curious to know how will they protect the spaceship and the crew from radiation, and will they have artificial gravity? I'm interested in that too. So, but, yeah. So, I would really love, Loopy, I would really love to get Shotwell, Gwen Shotwell, or Tori Bruno back on the show, because there's been a lot of developments with those. So I would really absolutely adore bringing them back. Tori was just so much fun to talk to. I really want to bring them back on so that we can talk about some updates and things. So please do talk with Elon. I don't know. It's like getting two 12-year-olds sitting in the back of the class together. So I don't know if that would end well. So, which orbit did Tim Dodd first appear in TMRO? I do not know. Tori Bruno was in, I want to say, orbit 10, sometime early 2017, I think is when we had him on. So, yeah. Oh, okay, Forever Learning. That would make sense. Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah, Elon is lead engineer because he said so. I guess it's basically because he's got the final say in engineering decisions and design choices, not that he actually does the actual engineering. So, cool. Stelly Ford. So Lisa went off to high seas. I feel like TMRO should sponsor a stay for one of the hosts at MDRS. They need more representation. I assume that's the Mars Desert Research Station, if I remember correctly, something like that. I would love to do one of those simulated mission things. That would be really fun. So, call Elon. Maybe he will come on as a standby. Yeah, I'm sure he's free right now. Guys, call him up. So, I'll text him real quick. Tim Dodd, orbit 9.32. So, very cool. So, Zubrin said it was too big. Zubrin says a lot of things. And I will also stop right there with that as well. So, yeah. Yeah, Christian Woodland, that is such a amazing point to make, which is that engineers do not work completely alone. We do not. That's right. Jared Unplugged is pretty entertaining, I guess. I don't know. I'm just talking about stuff and running my mouth. If any, what did I miss? Nothing yet. We're still waiting to hear from our guest, I guess. I think our guest is in Hawaii. So it's, 9 in the morning there at the moment? So, yeah. So, yeah. Cool. If no guest, can we still continue as After Dark for a bit? I believe that would be Dada's call. So, what says you, Dada? So, and that's if we get no guest. We could get a guest to pop in. We could get Henk pop in at any time. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, somebody wants the After Dark thing just so that they can clap to the music. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, I quite like it. Hey, one thing I do want to say this from Tim Dodd's interview of Elon Musk, which I super appreciate Elon having said that, which is that he said something along the lines basically of if we're wrong, we're happy to hear and we're happy to take criticism with that. And that is super important. It's so important to be able to take criticism in engineering and science and everything like that. Just like narrow focus, stay the course with this usually doesn't end particularly well for a lot of things. That fluidity and that nimbleness and that ability to be agile is really like important to have. And that's really nice to see somebody actually talking about that. That's so important. So Colton says, keep calm, find your towel. So, yeah, I guess. So, Jeffrey says, oh my God, you guys idolize Tim. I guess, I mean, I like Tim. Tim does good stuff. So, he's also a really fun person off air as well. He's a riot to be around. So, just want to say that. So, could Tim Dodd join as a standing guest? I don't know. I don't know if he's busy or not. So, yeah. So, yeah. I guess we're all hanging out. Is Tim coming? Oh, guys, I don't think Tim's coming. So I don't know who said that in the chat, but that's not a thing. So we're supposed to have Henk Rogers on today to talk about the International Moon Base Alliance, but we haven't heard from Henk yet. So we're, yeah. Jeffrey, will Mike ever be back?
I'm being told to hold the show because they got a response.
Okay.
So we're working on getting the guest on hailing them on the communication device.
Gotcha. I don't know if Mike will ever be back. That was Mike's decision, not ours. So, well, that's all we will say about that. So, oh yeah, Tim's working on the Aerospike video. So totally dissing my hair. Can't believe that guy. So, Mike D, can't wait to see the first Starship landing. It should look awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to see it too. It's gonna be nuts.
Your hair is the inverse Aerospike.
It's a linear Aerospike.
Well, that's kind of got a wave to it.
Well, I mean, how else do you think it gimbals? So.
Gimbals like the fins of an eel.
What's up?
Gimbals like the fins of an eel.
I actually started this new technique with my hair like this week, experimenting a little bit with new stuff to try to hold it a little better since it's getting long. And I gotta, it's tough because I have to, it stays much, there's more moisture in it when I do it than my original technique. And I haven't gotten that yet. I haven't gotten that drilled into my head yet. So sometimes my mohawk here will will lean and not be straight. Well, I mean, that makes sense. So, yeah. Anyways. Slightly off nominal. So, Jared, who do you call to find out if there's a new object in the sky? Don't call Griffith Observatory, that's for sure. We're the wrong place to ask about stuff like that. So, because we're in the middle of Los Angeles. We can barely see the brightest stars in the sky. So, I can't help you with other things. So, Jared, you need more goth punk friends. Maybe. I don't know. I make friends with everybody I can. So, because it's just, be excellent to each other. So, yeah, cool. So, yeah, nominal. I like that. So, yeah, Aloha Melton, I agree with that. Anyone arguing Elon isn't an engineer of rocketry is just jealous and irrational. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not an engineer. I just don't feel like he's the lead engineer. But I mean, if he gets final approval, then yeah, it's kind of tough to say he's not lead engineer on that. So it'd be like saying Kelly Johnson wasn't the lead engineer on the SR-71, something like that. Actually, I think that would be more like F-117 for him, because Ben Rich headed that up, but Kelly Johnson gave the final okay on that, right? I think? Yeah. So that's what it would be more like. Gotcha. So it's got to get I had to look at Dutta, because everybody's going to know about Skunk Works. It's that guy over there. Dutta is good. Dutta is wise. So your guest is on Elon time. Right. So DJ Opdam, be proud of your mohawk. Mine is gone because of a bald spot. Well, I could tell you one thing. The volume of my hair is significantly less in this area right here. So there will come a time where I can no longer do it. So I will just keep the top of it like I originally had it when I first got it. So yeah, really, there is no set standard for a mohawk. You could do whatever you want with it. So you need a mohawk hair hold, put it on after the shower 15 minutes later, and done. That would be nice. But it's not just the hair being held in the same spot that you have to do with it. You have to volumize it. You have to make sure that it's going to stay. And it's not just like put the stuff in and it's going to stay. That's not how that works. It's a little more complicated than you think it is. So, and I'm gonna make a video one day about what it takes to do a mohawk. So something like that. Do any
Need to get what's her name, Simone Gertz, to make you a robot to do it.
Yeah, that'll end well. I would like to keep my hair on it. Nifty, Mr. T did a reverse mohawk, kind of. Yeah, I guess now Mr. T kind of has a reverse mohawk. Mr. T's OG mohawk that he had from like 18 era, that's called a ray hawk. In case you wanted to know. So there are technical terms, like this is technically what's called a fin hawk. And then Bobak Ferdowsi in 80s Mr. T had ray hawks. So it's pretty wild how there's difference. Prodigal son, you should try growing a full beard. I'm giving it a shot. This is 2 weeks. See, if you go to the close-up with it, this is 2 weeks. This is 2 months. I wish this was 2 weeks. This is 2 months, baby. So let me tell you, I do not have the genes for facial hair. But I'm just going to let it go to the end of the year, much like myself, letting it go to the end of the year, and we'll see what happens at the end of it. So, man, y'all saying like I can't have a mohawk. You need to believe in yourselves. So, I swear. So, like just give it a go. You're never too old. You're never too old. So that's what's. A lot of people will often joke like, "Oh, I can't have that because I only have hair here." Well, you could do like the lead singer of the Prodigy, Keith Flint. He kind of had what is legitimately called a reverse mohawk, where you kind of have it come up on the sides instead of in the middle. So I mean, that's how it goes. So yeah. So yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. So waiting to see what's up with our guest. Mordecus, who needs guests when we have hair talk? It always goes to hair. So Dan Thomas, easy, breezy, beautiful cover, Jared. NRJ, do you really work at the observatory with that same hairstyle? I sure do. So, yep. And actually, when I went in for my job interview, my boss was like, I did not expect you to be as good as you are with that haircut. And I was like, well, surprise. So, yeah.
Something about book covers?
Yeah, something about that. I don't know. Yeah, so, yeah, I do. I have the mohawk up here. And even our director is A-okay with it. So, Aloha Milton, I am so concerned if James Webb Space Telescope does not reach orbit. What happens? Don't say that, Aloha. Don't you bring those words to life, I swear. So what happens? A large number of heart attacks occur, careers end, and NASA's Astrophysics Division would probably, I don't know, I think it kind of depends on what would happen, or what would be the cause of that, so. Because, I mean, the problems with the mirror on Hubble nearly destroyed not just NASA's Astrophysics Division, but literally NASA itself. So a lot of people don't know that Congress was like seething, or the United States Congress at least was seething about that. So it's pretty wild. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about the history of spaceflight. That was like, wow, we were really on like the edge of not ever doing anything again. So it's pretty wild. So yeah, Bobek Ferdowsi works at NASA with Mohawk. He works here in LA at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and we have been in the same room before. So there were two Mohawks. There two Mohawks in aerospace in the same room at the same time. I have a friend who works at a small launcher company. That's all I'll say. He has a Mohawk as well. I think he's the lead launch engineer, I want to say, something like that. But we cannot, all three of us cannot be in the same room at the same time, because if by chance our Mohawks were to accidentally, all three of us, all of our Mohawks touch at the same time, a singularity would be generated. And it's just it's really bad news. So we're just not allowed to be in the same room at the same time. Not the only thing that causes a singularity to be generated. If three of them hit, Zambonis as well. Didn't know that. So it's why if you ever go to a hockey game, there's only two Zambonis on the ice. If you had a third one and they all hit, singularity. So yeah, that one's called the Zamboni triplicate theory of singularity. So pretty wild stuff. So, all right. And we have, is that Hank?
Hank, I have video but no audio. There's some
Hello,
audio.
can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes, we can.
Hello. Ha ha ha. We have the technology.
Hello, Hank. How's it going today?
Okay, excellent.
All right, Hank, just to let you know, I'm Jared. I'm going to be interviewing you today, and we are live to the world right now, just to let you know. Kind of been talking with our audience for a little bit. But, just checking in. So like anything we say can and will be used or posted on Reddit with that at some point. So, yeah, just, do whatever you do. Make yourself comfortable, whatever you need to do. So and we'll get this going in a little bit here.
All right.
All right.
Are we ready?
Yeah, Hank.
Wow, it's interesting. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, are you planning on doing the interview from where you're at right now?
I'm moving to my brunch. I'm in Seattle.
Okay.
I'm headed to Bellevue to have brunch with the author of Tetris.
Oh, okay. Well, just this sounds like a wonderful Saturday with that there. So,
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes. You can imagine that we are best friends forever.
Oh, yes, I would. I do not doubt that at all. So cool. So do we have like a hard out time for you? Like we got to wrap up by this specific time?
No. We're fine.
Okay. And usually we go as long as the content dictates, which is, we usually aim for about 40 to 50 minutes in that area right there. So,
All right.
yeah. So, Dud, are we good on audio?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, all right. So, Henk, we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll just kind of fade to black first, and then back. I'll introduce the show. We'll get started, and then we'll go into the interview officially. And we do have our community watching. They have the ability to ask questions, and I'll relay those questions to you. And they are some sharp cookies. So they will ask some really good questions today.
Go for it.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to TMRO Space Orbit 12.31. I'm going to be your host today. I'm Jared Head. So not just news, but also the live show you have on Saturdays or whenever you're watching on demand. Today's episode is going to be particularly interesting because we have someone that you may actually know, not related to space, but is now involved in space, which is Henk Rogers, the founder of the International Moon Base Alliance. And on the move, as it is this morning as well. So, Henk, for our viewers who may not be familiar with the International Moon Base Alliance, what exactly is the International Moon Base Alliance?
So the International Moon Base Alliance is a grouping of space agencies, space companies, and space institutions that are all looking to build a moon base on the moon. Rather than us working in little silos or having governments competing against governments, I believe that we should all be working together. And that way, for example, like an international airport, we can all have access and we can all go to the moon and spend time on the moon without having to have a passport or worry if the pressure is different or the oxygen level is different or all of that. That should all be standardized. And so I'm looking to get everybody in the room with the Alliance and let's figure this thing out once and for all.
So there had to be a way for the Moonbase Alliance to start up. Sort of what was that catalyst that planted that idea with you and moving forward with it?
Well, I have talked to a lot of different people about what they want to do, and I've been going to all these space conferences, and there's lots and lots of people saying lots and lots of different things, and I'm not the one to judge who's right or wrong. I just like to get everybody on the same page so that we can all go through the same airlock. No matter what airport you go to, you with your 747 or whatever it is, there's always going to be something which attaches to your plane where everybody can get on and off the plane, and that's been standardized. And so that's why planes can go all over the world. They can land. They use the same language. It's all standardized. And that's what we need to do on the moon, on our journey to the moon. So the catalyst was just attending all these conferences and hearing so many different opinions about how things should be done. And then hearing from our government that we're going to do it alone, which doesn't make any sense.
Mm. So where did your personal interest in space come from? Because you didn't start out sort of looking at space as a thing.
It depends on how far back you go. I used to fight my mom when I was a kid. She wanted to watch Daktari and I wanted to watch Star Trek, and they overlapped by a half hour, so I had to beg. So you could say that my interest in space goes way back to when the late 60s. But it kind of crescendoed recently when I came up with my missions in life. I kind of retired from business and had a heart attack. And at the end of that heart attack, I said, no, I'm not going. Or during that heart attack, I said, no, I'm not going. I still have stuff to do. And I found my missions in life. Mission number 3 is to make a backup of life by going to other planets.
Mm. And with the International Moon Base Alliance, who do you have working within that alliance?
Well, I'm actively working with NASA and ESA. I have talked to JAXA, the Japan Space Agency, I've talked to SpaceX and Blue Origin. In fact, I'm in Seattle. One of my meetings is with Blue Origin to figure out, how we're going to cooperate there. Yeah, I'm going to just get out of the car here.
Sure, yeah, we'll come along.
Da-da-da. So here we are in Seattle. Yeah, so I'm actually, one of the reasons I'm in Seattle is to meet with Blue Origin about their plans for moon base, because, again, NASA and Blue Origin and SpaceX aren't exactly on the same page on all of this. And the way I look at it is, you got all these billionaires building airplanes and nobody's building airports. Duh.
Yeah.
So somebody needs to get started on this.
Yeah. And we actually do have a question from our chat room that's sort of asking about standardization with it, because you talk about it using as like a moon base as the airport with it. So John Benstead in our YouTube chat room is asking, is the International Moon Base Alliance looking to standardize not just a moon base, but general space travel as well?
If that's a side effect, I don't have a problem with that. But building an international airport and airplanes are two different things. If you look at all the kinds of planes that exist, from amateur to jets to whatever, it's all over the place, and people are trying all kinds of things. And I don't want to stifle that kind of innovation. But if we're going to go and have an airport where we are talking about landing lots and lots of people safely over and over and over again, then we do have to standardize.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like having that airport, so that moon base on the moon, is important to making commercial companies want to go there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is absolutely something that's going to happen. There are, it's silly to think that we aren't going to find things on the moon that aren't as exciting as what we found on the quote unquote New World when we sailed from Europe. I mean, just think of the how can I say, economic explosion that happened in Europe when we actually discovered and then colonized the New World. The moon is the next New World.
And CFIT in our IRC chat room actually sort of has a question that's running with that economic development that you're talking about, which is, do you think that the main driver for putting a base on the moon will be research or science, or do you think there's an economic argument, or maybe is there a dual purpose with it?
It's in the beginning it's science, but when we start discovering unobtainium or whatever it is that we discover on the moon, it's definitely going to be commercial. Commercial outweighs scientific interest by, I don't know, 100 to 1 or 1,000 to 1 eventually. Not in the get-go, because nobody knows what's there. We first have to explore, and once we explore, then we can actually, how can I say, bad word, but exploit what's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with the Moonbase Alliance, you're working with both government agencies and commercial companies. And what are some of the big differences between working with, say, like NASA and JAXA with your Moonbase Alliance than, say, SpaceX and Blue Origin?
SpaceX and Blue Origin are sort of come from a different world. The different world is the world of software development. I come from the world of software development. You build prototypes, you iterate, and you get things done. Space agencies generally come from we don't want to make any mistakes. And they're like, how can you start from not making any mistakes? You have to make mistakes, otherwise you're not going to learn. And so if you come from this, I'm so scared to make a mistake and over-engineer everything, it becomes so expensive, it becomes unaffordable. And so all of space exploration up till now has been unaffordable, and the companies are going to make it affordable.
And Ruben in our YouTube chat room is asking specifically about what has the International Moonbase Alliance achieved so far. So what have you all done towards moving to that mission in your life?
I can't say that we've accomplished a whole lot. We've had a conference. We've gathered a bunch of smart people in the room and gotten the work started in terms of thinking about it. We actually have I wouldn't say a moon-based prototype. We have a habitat on the big island of Hawaii where we used to practice living on Mars, and now we flipped and we're practicing living on the moon. So we're actually actively learning about living on the moon by practicing doing it. It's in an analog. It's not actually the real deal, of course, but you got to start somewhere. And we have crews coming from Japan, from the mainland, from universities like ASU, from the European space agencies, and they all take turns, and they do what the astronauts do on the space station, but they do it in our habitat, in our analog.
So with that habitat, is that the high seas habitat that's on the Big Island?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And with that there, what are some of the like really big details that you're still studying with that? So, like, what are some of the big things that are those questions you're looking to answer there?
Well, the basically the protocols. Hold on, just a second.
Yeah, go for it. So, just a moment, everybody. So Henk is out and about right now. I don't think we've ever done a out and about interview, so this is definitely very interesting. And very cool. Yeah. Are you back with us, Henk? Oh no, don't worry.
I'm back.
This is very entertaining. I was just saying to our audience, we've never had like a roving interview happen before. So
roving interview.
This is great. So I guess just to kind of repeat the question, with the high seas mission simulations that you're doing there, what are some of the big questions that you're trying to answer?
How do international, space agencies and companies and universities, how do they work together? Because we have crews that are going to be mixed between all of them, and we're going to have crews that like one crew follows another and continues the science or the research, whatever it is. And so it's how do you do that handover? And then we're trying to figure out what's the communication, what is the base, what does ground control need to see, and how can we do all of this within a reasonable amount of money? These are all things that we don't know. So by playing in a prototype, we actually learn a lot about the actual what we want to build, rather than sit in a room and like have a bunch of smart guys sit around the table and try to figure it out. Do it, make your mistakes here on Earth in an analog, and then build a real. This is the thing that we're going to do. We are going to build an actual moon base. The exact thing that we're going to build on the moon, we're going to build it on Earth. And so when we build it on Earth, then we learn how to do all the robotics and the AI that is going to be needed to go and build that thing on the moon. Then we send the robots to the moon.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that in our chat room, Hans Verder Muir is actually asking, is IMBA going to talk to Boston Dynamics? Because, we're going to need robots to build stuff. Are you also looking at other companies like the Boring Company for underground work? I would imagine there's a lot involved in that.
Yeah, this is, again, it's not one company that builds the airport, that builds an international airport. There's lots of companies that build stuff that go into that, and those parts improve, but they all go through vetting. They all go through some kind of standardization. Even the languages the pilots speak, that went through a standardization, and that was a hard thing, and people died until they standardized it, and they figured out, hey, we got to all use English, and we got to do this, that, and the other thing. And so as a result, air travel is probably the safest way to move from place to place now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in our YouTube chat room, Raul Santos has a question that I'm pretty interested in, which is asking, is it different to live on Mars than it is on the moon? And I would imagine yes. So what are some of the
Yeah.
simulation differences that you have to work with?
So the basic simulation difference that we do is for a mission to Mars, it takes 8 months to go, 6 months to wait while the Earth comes around, and 8 months to come back. So we're talking about a 22-month minimum mission. And how do you keep people from killing each other or going bonkers, when they're in a small space for that long? That is the question for Mars. And by the way, communication, the closest Mars gets is 4 minutes, 4 light minutes away. The longest is 24 light minutes. So basically, when we do the Mars simulation, we average it out and say, okay, it's a 20-minute delay each way for communication. But if you go to the moon, that's only 3 seconds, and it only takes 3 days by 50-year-old technology. So basically, people can go for much shorter trips. So basically what I'm saying is that the missions themselves are different in character. On a Mars mission, you can't have people showing up in the middle of a mission. But in a moon mission, you can, because the moon doesn't get farther or closer. That Mars mission can only, by the way, be launched once every 2 years, because you don't want to launch a mission to Mars when Mars is on the other side of the sun. You've got to wait till it comes close. So, resupply, it has a heartbeat of something around 2 years. Resupply to the moon is like constant.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of touched on some of the human factors involved with it. Is there more than just the time delay and other of those factors that you simulate at your lunar base?
Of course. You've got 1/3 gravity, 1/6 gravity. Those things are quite different. The material of the moon has never been subject to, for example, what is it called? Rust. What is it called when iron becomes iron oxide?
Oh, oxidization. Oxidation.
Oxidization.
Yeah.
There you go. So there's no oxidization. Nothing gets oxidized on the moon.
Yeah.
And so the materials that we find on the moon are going to be a lot more pure than the materials we find on Mars. So the material on Mars has oxidized, even though there's very little oxygen, it still has oxidized because it's had billions of years to do so. And it's, how can I say? Yes. Yeah, so the material is different, and there's an atmosphere. You can actually use the atmosphere to brake when you're approaching Mars. There's no atmosphere on the moon at all. Those are all differences. And I think we find that there'll be more differences as we actually go and spend time in those places. I think the communication, just being closer to home, is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and I think some of the analogs that have happened here on Earth, like you look at Biosphere and some of the other ones, have found that psychologically you need to almost have like the most rock solid people in order to make sure that these kind of long duration missions actually work out correctly. It definitely helps to have that with that as well there. So Lisa Stojanovsky in our chat room is asking about your other companies, because it's not just the International Moon Base Alliance that you have that lines up. So kind of what are your other companies, and how do they fit into your vision for space exploration?
So other companies, oh my gosh. Mission number 1 is to fix this planet. So I'm working to end the use of carbon-based fuel, and renewables or intermittent renewables like wind and solar have been in the way. Have been a problem because they are not 24/7. Electric company calls that baseload. And so what I've done is started an energy storage company to try to fix that problem, so that those intermittent problems can become, baseload. But the connection between mission number 1 and mission number 3 is, if we learn if we build a colony on the moon. By the way, no colony in history has ever existed that wasn't self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. In other words, if you wait for supplies to come from home, eventually you die. You have to be able to grow your own food, find your own water, and all of that. And so that's what we're going to have to do on the moon and Mars. If we learn how to live sustainably on the moon, that technology will help us to live sustainably here, because there will be no garbage on the moon. At $1 million a kilo, say we get like really efficient, it's only $100,000 a kilo, or even $10,000 a kilo, you wouldn't be sending up any garbage, nothing that becomes garbage.
Mm-hmm. And being on the moon and developing self-sufficiency, what does that look like? Are you going to purely use everything that's on the moon and then just continuously reuse those resources? Because I imagine you got to bring the stuff with you first. So,
yeah, you're going to have to bring some organic material. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Because there's probably not no organic material on the moon. Mm-hmm. But, the amount of organic material that we have here on Earth is kind of finite. We recycle it and recycle it. It becomes, when we die, we become some other life form. And so all that organic material gets recycled over and over and over again. It's not like lots of new organic materials being created somewhere. Yes, life does break down, inorganic stuff into organic stuff. And that's what's going to happen on the moon as well. But so I would say we're going to have to grow lots and lots of vegetables, because it's very inefficient to try to grow meat even here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to use everything, like reuse. There's not going to be any like human waste or whatever. That's all part of nothing will be lost. Nothing will be thrown out.
Mm-hmm. And are there any lessons from Apollo that you still use today, looking at the Moon Base Alliance? Because I know a lot of people know that the astronauts trained, in Utah and Arizona and the Mojave Desert in California, but they also went to the Big Island in Hawaii. Yes, they trained in Hawaii as well. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, they did.
So is there stuff that you've learned from them?
So there's something here. The Earth has plate tectonics. Mm-hmm. And basically what plate tectonics has done is sorted the rock of Earth into two types of rock. Oceanic rock, which doesn't last more than a couple of 100 million years because it gets subducted. Mm-hmm. And continental rock, which is the lighter rock that has floated to the top during the billions of years of plate tectonics. And so Earth has all these different rocks that have been sorted. The moon and Mars have never had plate tectonics. So they only have oceanic rock. Therefore, the rock of Hawaii and the rock of the moon are like 96% the same chemically. The moon stuff hasn't been oxidized and ours has, and so on. But still, learning how to work with the lava rock of the Big Island is going to be the starting point for learning how to work with the material on the moon and Mars. By the way, they're both similar.
Mm-hmm. And do you do that at your analog that you have at the base?
There's another organization I'm the chairman of. It's called Pisces, the Pacific International Space Center for Exploration Systems. And NASA has basically asked us to learn how to make lunar concrete, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's the dust of the lava rock sintered at a certain temperature so that it turns into something like concrete with no binder. Mm-hmm. You're again at $1 million a kilo. You're not sending concrete to the moon.
Mm-hmm. And John Benstead in our YouTube chat room is asking, could there be carbonaceous rocks on the moon from meteor impacts, and could those be used for making organic soil to grow plants in?
So there's an interesting thing. So there's a period in our solar system when planets were bombarded mm-hmm. by giant asteroids, and you can see the evidence of this period on the moon. You don't find it on Earth because we've had erosion and we've had plate tectonics and all that. So what are the minerals that you find in the asteroids? You could go to the asteroids and try to find out, or you can go to the moon and find out, because 3.5 billion whatever years ago, a bunch of them landed on the moon and they're still there. They're all still there. So it's basically whatever you can find in an asteroid, you're eventually going to find on the moon. It may be in the form of dust, but we'll have technologies to mine that stuff and concentrate it into whatever we want.
And to talk a little bit about, mining on the moon and finding those resources on the moon, in our YouTube chat room, Colton45 has something that, of course, is on everybody's mind, which is how useful is water in general for everything from hydration, maybe some form of dust control, because I think there's a lot to be said about making sure that you try not to ingest as much of that lunar regolith as you can. Also, maybe making fuel for hydrogen-based engines. Are there maybe other things with water that we, at present, don't think about that we could use when we're on the moon?
Well, how about a basic use for water that we have on this planet, which is to protect us against solar radiation or cosmic rays?
Yeah.
We, at any spot, even if you're in a desert, you're still got a couple of miles of water vapor on top of you, which doesn't exist on the moon. So I would say one of the easiest, simplest uses for water is that shielding to protect us from radiation. I think that we're going to be living underground. This is just my personal opinion. People can disagree with me, it's fine. But, to build something on the surface, I think is going to be much more difficult than building something underground. And so the whole concept of mining, if you look at the way mining works, for example, in Australia, they're mining for opal, and they go down and then they create these spaces where they mine and are looking for opal, and then they live in those spaces. So mining and, how can I say, our living spaces are going to be connected on the moon. So once we start looking for stuff and finding it, then we will be creating spaces where we can live. Mm-hmm. And this mining should happen underground anyway. I think that's a smarter way to go. Then, we don't want to trash the place. We don't want to create giant scars like we do on Earth. Scars on Earth can be, how can I say, covered by life. But the moon, basically, the footprints of the people that were there 50 years ago are still there. So whatever we do will leave a scar, leave its mark. And we want to be as how can I say, as careful as possible to preserve as much of the moon as possible for future generations.
Mm-hmm. So would you say to anyone who wants to participate sort of in lunar exploration or a future lunar economy, is mining something that they should really look at? Because if I remember correctly, there actually is a college for mining here in the United States, and they have just started courses basically for mining off of the Earth.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the obvious first business. But I mean, what can we do with a vacuum? Mm-hmm. We go to a huge expense to achieve vacuum here, and vacuum is normal on the moon. So what can you do? Industries that need vacuum for anything, moon is great. It's already there. It's hard not to have a vacuum, as a matter of fact. So there are conditions for doing things on the moon, 1/6 gravity. I mean, when I get really old and I'm having a tough time, I need a wheelchair on this planet, I'll be able to walk on the moon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll have a 900-yard drive or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
So I'll finally be able to.
It's going to be insane.
That'd be so much fun. I can imagine literally like a home run on the moon is like a mile long. Oh. That's going to be a really big baseball stadium.
Exactly.
So
exactly. So I think there's going to be lots of fun things that we do on the moon. And just imagine if we had some trampolines and we had some, I don't know, we could move around like gibbons, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's whole new kinds of sports that can be invented that take advantage of 1/6 gravity.
Yeah, and why not just have the Olympics on the Earth? You could also have like a lunar Olympics as well, and you can.
Oh, lunar Olympics! Yeah, I've been thinking about lunar sports. What the hell does table tennis look like, or squash, or whatever? They're going to be very different.
Just imagine like this massive table tennis, this huge thing. Oh my gosh!
Well, no, it's not. That's not even the issue. The issue is that when you jump, like say you go to do a dunk in basketball,
Hmm.
you're gonna stay up like, I don't know how much longer. You're gonna float. You could like start at one end of the court and then jump to the other end of the court and dunk.
That would be amazing.
Stuff like that.
So I really want to have the NBA All-Star dunk contest now on the moon. So that would be fantastic. I'm too excited. Now you've got me extra excited about it, Hank. And one of the things that you actually just basically straight up answered from our chat room was that where are we going to live? On surface or underground? So underground is where you're advocating with. Is it something that we are going to have to artificially generate, like we're going to have to tunnel out our own things, or with these lava tubes and other things, do you think that's a much better way to go about it?
No, we don't live in caves anymore, and basically we build stuff where the resources are. So where we have the water or whatever it is that we're mining, or where we get our power sources, whatever, that is where we're going to live. We're not going to search for someplace and then have to go walk miles or drive miles to get to where we live. It doesn't make any sense. That's just not how things happen on Earth. It's much easier. I mean, you're going to have to engineer stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a lava, do you know how we know about lava tubes? Is this thing called a skylight.
Mm-hmm.
What is a skylight? A skylight is a bit of the lava tube which collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to go in there and build something in a structure that collapsed or part of it collapsed? And then down there, like it's a very uneven space. I've been to lava tubes here. It's like spelunking in a cave. It's really hard stuff. And then to think about building something, in other words, you can't build the same thing in two different places because your shape of your lava tube is going to be completely different. So the answer is that if we got robots and dig like termites and make spaces like termite, what's under a termite mound, we can create any space we want. And then all we have to do is hollow it out, and then create a how can I say, a mesh, and then 3D print regolith onto it, and then now you've got a place to live or to build, to do whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely can't help but agree. I've gone in some lava tubes in our cinder cone volcanoes we have here in the Mojave Desert, and not really like fun to get into them. And I don't know if I'd want to live in them either. So it would be a little difficult.
I think it's just really difficult engineering to build, something in a lava tube.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about inflatables, but again, you have to then take the inflatable from Earth, and then you have to like somehow get it into the lava tube,
mm-hmm.
and then you have to inflate it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, that's so hard.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to tunnel and then live in those tunnels or whatever.
Yeah, and also the basaltic rock that you often find in lava tubes is not fun to contend with either.
That's just building material.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. You're gonna have to deal with it on the surface or underground. It's all the same.
Yeah, I learned two very valuable lessons when I did my lava tube stuff for my geology courses, which is don't wear shorts when you go into a lava tube. And the lava is called that because it hurts when it scrapes on you. So,
yes, we have to constantly replace our suits.
Yeah,
because they get torn up.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, so the and pahoehoe that we have on Earth is probably going to be different on the moon,
mm-hmm.
because the atmospheric conditions are different.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect that to be the same. But still, lava tubes are just not going to be it's going to take a long time. You're going to have to go and figure out with the lava tube, then figure out the strength. You have to engineer building something in a lava tube. You might as well engineer something underground where what is the thickness what is the density of the rock here, and then figure out, how much of it that you need above you to protect against radiation and so on and so forth. Again, you want to build something near where your resources are. You don't want to have to go miles and miles and miles to wherever your resources are. I mean, that's just not the way things work. Not here. Mm-hmm. You build a spaceport, and then that's where you want to build all your infrastructure, not like in different places.
And to talk a little bit about spacesuits, what are some of the requirements that you're going to have to contend with for spacesuits on the moon? Because the lunar regolith is tough.
It's not so much it's the lunar regolith, which is created by bombardment by micro meteorites that have turned them into little shards. So this stuff, you don't want to breathe this stuff. But this is all, us going and living on the surface or spending time on the surface, which I think is going to be a fraction of the time that we spend on the moon. Most of our time is going to be inside, not outside. And so whatever we go through to protect ourselves from, deep sea diving or whatever it is, we have to go through those same steps. And yes, of course, it's like going into a clean room. You come from outside, you're going to have to be cleaned before you enter your space, because you really don't want that dust in the base itself. So we'll figure that out. It's not, well, maybe it is rocket science, but it's not rocket science. It's just, we got to make a clean room. The astronauts had to climb in their suits from the outside to the inside of the capsule. And so they were dirty.
Yes. They
were dirty and with the dust. And then whatever the dirt came from the dust, came from the suit, they ended up breathing that stuff. Now, if you just do that for a couple of days, not a problem, maybe. But if you do that regularly, then it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and to kind of talk a little bit about how this all sort of like gets done and some of the little like fine points of it, Steel Tugboat in our YouTube chat room is asking, has there been any talk about space laws? Because that's obviously something that we're going to have to contend with. I know it's kind of like everybody's going to have to deal with it. So
my eyes glaze over. I've been in these conversations about space law, and it's like a bunch of guys on Earth are going to decide what the space laws are going to be on the moon or wherever. No, once you get out there, we're going to say like, screw you guys. We're not going to listen to you. Why should we? What are you going to do? Send us the space police and arrest somebody for breaking one of your space laws? It's just so ridiculous to think that, we should be sitting here thinking about space law. When we get there, we will figure this out. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Gotcha. So it's kind of one of those things like, we're just going to go do it. And then afterwards, when it comes up, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, like some of us are going to follow the rules. And then others of us are not going to follow the rules. It's going to be the Wild West.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future. Why should anybody follow the laws that were written by some guy at the United Nations?
Yeah, and in our chat room too, CFIT is asking, what is the most realistic timeline for your first mission to the surface of the moon? So what's that sort of look like?
So SpaceX told me that they could get me a payload to the moon middle of the next decade. I mean, serious payload. We're talking about like 150 tons to the moon by the middle of the next decade. Okay, they're going to be late by a couple of years. Everybody knows that. That's fine. So let's say latter part of the next century. The next decade, we get to send a massive number of robots to the moon who are actually going to dig into the ground and build a moon base. How long does it take them to do that? A year? 2 years? I'm kind of thinking that manned missions or occupation of a moon base will happen somewhere towards the end of the next decade.
Gotcha. So the end of the 2020s, around that area.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm aiming. I'm on the moon by 2030. Not me, but somebody like me. a younger me.
And Sarge Enzyme in our YouTube channel is asking, how do we as ordinary people get involved with the International Moon Base Alliance, and what could we do when we get involved?
We're at the very beginning of this. I, frankly speaking, have no idea. Follow your passion. If you have a passion to do something about space, go do it. and then you'll be part of it. I mean, it's kind of like that. You can decide that you want to be an astronaut, but not many of us actually get to be astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you do? I mean, there's all kinds of science. Science is necessary for surviving on the moon. I mean, material science, robotics, AI, food production, everything to do with sustainability. All those things need to be part of it. So which direction are you going to come from? And the answer is all of them.
Mm-hmm. And for the future of the International Moon Base Alliance, are you guys looking at sort of being like this amalgamation of knowledge that people can come to and kind of work with? Do you want to be spearheading the push to get people to the moon, or do you kind of want to do both at the same time, or is there something else you're looking at?
I'm just trying to be a catalyst for the sane way of doing this. And the sane way of doing this is cooperation. That's the sane way of doing it. And that's, again, my model is an international airport. When you go to an international airport, pretty much everything that your expectations, like nobody's going to steal your purse. Nobody's going to come up to you with a gun and try to shoot you. I mean, this is all kind of worked out, and it's worked out in every country, and irrelevant to the system of government that's around that country. The international airport is all kind of regular or the same or similar. And so that's the way moon bases need to be. Mm-hmm. They need to be similar so that eventually you can you imagine having two moon bases next to each other from different countries, and they have a different atmosphere. They can never connect. How stupid is that? That can't be that way. They have to decide, let's all settle on a metric system. Let's all decide on 20% oxygen. Let's all decide what's the pressure going to be? Is it going to be half Earth atmosphere or whatever it is? These things should be standardized. Otherwise, it can be such a pain in the ass later on.
So if folks would like to learn more about the International Moon Base Alliance, where can they go to do that?
We have the beginnings of a website, but we're still in the organizational phase. So we show up at space conferences. We'll be at the IAC, and we'll be at New Worlds in Austin. So look for us there. What can I say? It's still early stage. We're at the very beginning of this thing, and I'm not smart enough to know all the answers.
And Henk, just about you, if people would like to know more about you, because in researching for this, you are a fascinating fellow. Where can people, go to get more on you?
We're working on a website, because if you go to Wikipedia, there's all kinds of people adding information or misinformation. I've done interviews like this, lots of them, and so you can find me on YouTube or just Google me, for Christ's sake.
All right, that sounds like great advice. Henk Rogers from the International Moon Base Alliance. A really fascinating discussion today, and can't wait to see what the future of being on the moon is going to be like and what will be enabled by the work that you are all getting ready to do. So should be pretty interesting, to say the least. So, yep, definitely. So, and of course, we love to bring these kinds of interviews to you folks here at TMRO, and our citizens of TMRO are the ones who help make this possible. We can't do this without you. We also can't do space news without you. We basically can't do our mission, which is to get people excited about space, without your help. So if you'd like to help us out financially, you can head on over to patreon.com/TMRO or youtube.com/TMRO/join. And we really like YouTube, because you can give as little as $1 per month on there. So if you get something out of this, we're more than happy for you to give something back to us. And in addition to that, if you would like to give something back to us as well, just in a different means of doing so, you can head on over to community.tmro.tv, and you can do it there. Also, hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere down, or is it up there? It's somewhere. Also, hit that notification bell because you'll find out when we're going live for this. You'll also find out when we're doing space news. And in addition to that, you'll also find out when we're doing letting off steam, because that's sort of like our new randomized time and day live show that we're doing. We don't announce them. We just do them. So you're going to want to have that notification bell hit and that subscribe button hit so that you can do it. And of course, share us. We're here to get everybody excited about space flight, and you know everybody, so send us to everybody. So that wraps it up for Orbit 12.31. Thank you so much for watching us, and until the next show, keep exploring. I drank a lot of water, so I think you know what's about to happen. And that's a resource, just so you know, for the...
All right, I think we're gonna call it. Good show, everybody. Thank you very much.
We had if you're joining us just now, we had like a before dark because we were waiting on Henk, and that was really fun. And I hope he has a nice brunch. Now I want brunch.
Yeah.
So, yep. All right, I think that's it for us, everybody. See you on Space News this week. So have fun.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.